Mr. Chairman, I've listened with great interest today, and here's what I hear you saying. The four folks to my left, I hear you saying that digital assets are different. Digital assets hold great promise. Digital assets need special rules. I agree with that. The obvious question is, what should those rules be, and to what extent should we allow you to draft them? I've also heard some of you say that digital assets represent the next generation of the internet. Well, we let the current generation of the internet draft their own rules, and frankly, it looks like what we got as a result looks like somebody knocked over a urine sample. Congress can't even agree on basic legislation dealing with privacy on the internet. How the hell are we going to tackle this? But I hear what you're saying. I hear Mr. Painter, as usual, if you follow him on social media, you know, all politicians are crooks. Very helpful. I want to direct most of my questions to Professor Massad. Is that how you say your name?
Welcome back to the Constitution Corner, where we defend liberty, expose nonsense, and fight for our Constitution. Every single time. If you're tired of watching unelected bureaucrats and elite academics lecture Congress like they know better than the American people, then you're in the right place. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss when common sense speaks loud and clear. Today's video is going to blow your mind, folks. Senator John Kennedy, one of the last remaining voices of reason in D.C., absolutely dismantled this panel of so-called experts on digital assets, including a professor who can't seem to explain why Americans should trust the SEC with their financial future. And it wasn't just questions. This was a full-on grilling session with some hard truth mixed in. Let's break it all down.
Massad.
Mr. Massad. I'm really worried we're going to get this wrong. We don't know, we in Congress and our staffs don't know as much as the professionals in digital assets know. And I don't see how we can possibly catch up. Tell me more about your idea of having the SEC. Well, first, I don't want to run out of time here, but why is the digital assets industry so scared of being regulated by the SEC?
Well, I think we need to step back, Senator.
Briefly, please.
They don't want everything treated as a security because they don't want that entire framework to apply, but that's also because the SEC did fail to try to customize its rules to adapt for this technology, and it should do that. And you've got leadership at the agencies now who are working on those things.
You're suggesting that we turn to two of our agencies, one of which is the SEC, and say, you have expertise. Before we take a crack at a bill, you come up with a bill with rules, with regulations. Tell us how to do this. Because I hear you saying in some cases digital assets are commodities, in some cases they're securities.
Congress needs to fill the gap, which is if it's not a security, who's going to create a regulatory framework for it? So you do need to fill that. But these questions about exactly which is when is it a security, when is it not a security, how do we customize the rules, what should we do about DeFi, a lot of that should really be left to the agencies. You could establish some principles, but I wouldn't write detailed rules.
Have you looked, Professor, at at Congressman Hill's legislation?
I have in detail.
What do you think?
I think it's got a lot of problems. I think it's 236 pages of regulatory arbitrage opportunities for creative lawyers, and I used to be one that did that kind of stuff.
Made a lot of money, did you?
I did, but
Mr. Painter, do you think Senator Gillibrand is a crook?
No, and I do not think all politicians are crooks. And
Why did you call her a crook?
I did not call her a crook. Now, Senator, you need to
here's
focus
what
on
I'm
this
looking
bill.
right now.
You're doing this again. You did it the last
published a
hearing.
tweet that
You
said
need to read the
Gillibrand's
bill.
role in stablecoin regulation, $217,000 in crypto donations. You tweeted that.
Yes, I do.
And then you said, the crypto industry is buying Congress and the White House. This won't end well. Why do you think the crypto industry is buying Senator Gillibrand?
I said, look at the campaign contributions from this industry.
Do you think they've bought her?
I said, look at the campaign
You said
contributions.
they bought her. Do you think they bought her?
Senator, you need to focus on this bill instead of trying to distort my Twitter. Last
you called
time,
one of my
you were
colleagues a
quoting
crook,
what a Marxist in
and-
Chicago said
And
about
what
me.
evidence do you
Make
have
no
that she's
sense.
a crook?
I said there is massive amount of campaign contributions coming into this Congress from the crypto
Do
industry.
you want to apologize
You need-
to Senator Gillibrand?
I do not want you to have to apologize for passing legislation
want to
that
apologize
destroys
to
our
Senator
economy.
Gillibrand for calling her
You
a
are
crook?
distorting what I said, just like you did in the last hearing. You're wasting everybody's time, Senator.
You're a whack job.
Senator,
You are a
wasting.
major league
Well, I think we are.
next
I
level
think we.
whack job.
I think we
Is
are.
this
out of
middle
time.
school, Senator?
Senators and witness? Thank you both.
I think you
for your
should apologize, Senator.
I think,
Gillibrand.
Senator, you're wasting our time. This is not middle school.
Thank you for your participation.
First, Senator Kennedy correctly pointed out the mess we've already made by letting big tech and so-called internet innovators draft their own rules. What did we get? An online world that's virtually lawless, where censorship runs rampant, our data is stolen, and no one is held accountable. Kennedy's analogy, saying it looks like someone knocked over a urine sample, wasn't just colorful, it was accurate. Now these same elites want Congress to let them regulate digital assets however they see fit? Absolutely not. Then we got into the real problem. Who regulates crypto? Kennedy asked a very reasonable question. Why is the digital assets industry so terrified of the SEC? You'd think if their tech was truly revolutionary and honest, they'd welcome transparency. But no. The industry doesn't want to follow the rules that apply to everybody else. They want a loophole. Professor Massad basically admitted that the current agencies failed to create proper rules. Then he had the audacity to suggest that we let them try again, without congressional oversight. In other words, more unelected technocrats making rules in back rooms without accountability. Kennedy rightly pushed back. Congress needs to set the framework, not unelected bureaucrats at the SEC or the CFTC. We, the people, through our elected representatives, have a right to control how this powerful technology is regulated. Then came the fireworks. Mr. Painter, an activist lawyer posing as an expert, was confronted for repeatedly implying that Senator Gillibrand was bought by crypto donors. Kennedy called him out for it directly and rightly so. You don't just accuse sitting senators of corruption without evidence. And when pressed, Painter couldn't back up his claims, just more innuendo, more smears. And when he was losing the argument, he got personal. Called Kennedy a whack job. That right there is what happens when elitists get challenged, they melt down like toddlers. Senator Kennedy didn't flinch. He stood his ground, showed backbone, and reminded the committee, and the American people, that Congress needs to stay in charge, not surrender to unelected bureaucrats or hostile technocrats hiding behind academic jargon. Here's the bottom line, folks. Crypto might be the future. But liberty, law, and accountability must always come first. And if you agree, share this video, drop a comment below with your thoughts, and make sure you're subscribed. This channel exists to give the power back to you, not them. We are the Constitution Corner, where Americans' root guides its future. Until next time, stand strong, speak truth, and may God bless the United States of America.